Rajratna Vashnik. I am Rajratna Vashnik, member of ECL RSUI. Today we have with us a very special guest and a serial entrepreneur, public speaker, game programmer, Mr. Arjit Bhattacharya. He has over 23 years of experience helping startups, entrepreneurs, and government across the world to solve the problems using entrepreneurship, technology, and innovation. He is an awarded top-rated global business leader, celebrated speaker, top influence, blockchain specialist, and VR specialist, and a thought leader. His expertise lies in the areas of international business development, technology, fundraising, innovation, new market development, risk management, market entry, deep tech, systems, and processes. He is concerned to sustainable development, humanitarian technologist, angel investor, public speaker, business matchmaking expert, artist, author, community builder, game programmer, and AI evangelist, blockchain specialist, startup mentor. He has 23 years of experience in technology, finance, art, SDG, 12 millions networking, connecting followers from more than 95 plus countries. He has 2 decades of experience in finance and technology. He is a globally acclaimed speaker on entrepreneurship, technology, and motivation. So now I would request Mr. Ajit sir to express his view in front of us. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much for the beautiful and lovely introduction. I'm really happy and honored to speak in front of all the young minds. I hope that I'm actually speaking to maximum students and I can see maybe some of the faculty members. So really happy to be here and probably share a little bit of 2 cents of my knowledge in front of all of you. I'll more love to make it as an interactive session because the subject line is very specific to game development and how to become an entrepreneur in the game development field. I believe that many of you who are from the engineering college or probably from the school, they have used various different game engines to create games, which is pretty easy nowadays to make it. So I'll start with a very small story of mine, how I started. So back in 1998, I started when I was 17 years old. I was just passed out of my school from 12th exam. I was about to join an engineering college, but I left that. For one of the reason is it's like a complete 4 years of training into engineering course, and I actually wanted to create a company. So after studying it for approximately a month, it will be great if the audience can actually turn off their
in progress.
Yeah. So after that, I thought that probably to start a company, it will be nice if I can understand a little bit of about business. So I joined economics. Economics, statistics, and mathematics was my combination in my graduation. Then I did my master's degree in computer science. While doing that, I started India's one of the first game development studio. Probably we were the only studio who started creating our own game title in that time. It used to be early internet days where we used to have dial-up connection to open a browser. It used to be Windows 95, if I'm not wrong. And internet was a luxury. Of course, connectivity was an issue, but despite of all the facts, the energy was there inside me, who is asking me to do something good for the society and wanted to recruit more and more our brothers and sisters who are from Bharatvarsh and wanted to give back to the community. That was my purpose of starting India's first game development studio based out of Calcutta. I started with less than $1. To be very specific, in rupees, it was 49 rupees in my pocket, which I used to save from my school days. Despite of having all those kind of boundaries of buying tiffin, I used to save those kind of money. While doing that, it's like a complete different kind of journey altogether. I started the company somehow, sustained it for a few bit of years, started a training institute wherein I started training students so that they can learn and they can become my future employee or probably the future team. So this is not a my story session. I'm not going to bore you with all those kind of inputs and information. Rather, let me jump what all we do, and probably that will help a lot of you to learn and understand the perspective of India and how it's happening in India itself. So if you look at the slide, I'm sure that you can see the slides, and I'm going to bore you for a couple of hours now. So boring in my language is actually beginning of re-engineered structure. Now, if you look at this picture, this is India's one of the first RPG game. Rather, probably this is India's first role-playing game called Ashwatthama the Immortal, which was published in Play Store in the year of 2008-9, if I'm not wrong. And the solo storyline, which we took from Mahabharata character, created a complete different kind of storyline altogether. Let me give you a small input, how and why we create such kind of stories. When I used to be in class 6 standard, probably before that, I started writing comics, and I started drawing it. So I used to write all the dialogues, all the stories, all the characters. I used to color them once I come back home. I used to use a ballpoint pen to create all those kind of universes of superheroes. And I was fascinated by our old Dravid and Sanskrit culture. So I started digging it very, very deeply, and decided that once I start my company, I'm going to bring out all those epic stories and the mythological characters. That's the reason in my several of my slides, you will see a lot many characters, which is probably redefined for the gaming world. So if you can see Mahishasur, you can see Kumbhakarn, you can see Shani. These are our bad characters according to our myth, according to our epic stories. So we brought in all these characters coming together, but the fun is not there. The fun is actually something different. You can see a lot many heroes as well, which was from our epical stories. So what we did so far, so good. These all characters are actually coming from real actor and actress. That's the USP of Virtual Infocom when we started. We started taking a lot of fresh actor, actress, and model to become our game character. Please remember, it happened a couple of decades back. So the technology was not that updated so that it could have done very, very easily. Challenges was there. There was no studio for motion capture in India. There was no studio. I'm talking about 2000, 2001. There was no place where we can do a proper game shoot. People who used to do photography, they didn't have any kind of idea about all such kind of processes. And of course, photographer was not there. At least I couldn't find, forget about the budget. I couldn't find a person who can understand how these things can be done. So I learned photography on my own and actually started taking pictures. Hired one very small studio here in Calcutta, started convincing models, started convincing people so that they can become our characters. And the concept was pretty simple. While creating all these kind of characters, I wanted to merge all the comics, all those virtual reality digital comics, and of course, wanted to integrate India's first superhero, Shaktiman, with us. So definitely I met Mr. Mukesh Khanna, and graciously he said that, okay, fine, let's do something good together and let's bring out Shaktiman from the TV series in a complete new vertical into the gaming world. So we actually simulated him in his 60s, and we made him the way he used to be in the TV series when I was a kid. These are a few of the snapshots of lot many celebrities that we took and converted them into 3D digital human. The business is not there. These are a few of the Tollywood celebrities. I'm not sure how many of you can recognize them. These are Bengali movie stars. Example, Jeet, Priyanka, Mainak, Amrita, and Arjun. So Mainak is this one. I wanted to show you guys how we do the modeling. This is a very low poly modeling in 3D, which we do with our own patented software, which we developed inside our studio so that we don't have to be dependent on any other third-party software. And we started simulating it directly from the characters itself. That's the reason you can see approximate 99.9% accuracy of the characters that we make. Nowadays, we are talking about metaverse. Nowadays, we are talking about 3D characters. So these are the few of the structure that we make with very, very low poly characterization so that it runs on mobile, it runs on any damn hardware that you can imagine and think of. Few shots from the games that we created. So far, so good. Now, when we talk about game development and when we talk about doing business, game development itself is a big field, but we didn't stop over there. We tried to connect the real world with the gaming world. So what we did, whatever characters that we started producing inside our games, we started making dresses in the real life so that once you play the game, probably you love the character, you love the dress, you can buy it from the actual store itself. This is nowhere connected to the real world cosplay show, but yes, we tried it in our own way, into the Indianized way, and tried to give a little bit of touch with the Western world so that the new generation can adopt it and grab it. Few of the shots that you can understand how deeply we have created all these kind of hard plastic oriented objects, which is available inside the game. These are, of course, not a digital product, but physical product as well. What happened? We started traveling. I personally traveled various different villages of India, started interacting with those many people who are from various different part of our motherland, and connected them, convinced them that if they can produce high fashion dresses, we are ready to train them. So we did that, and these are a few of the products that they have developed from the village itself, and we started doing shows in real life so that their products can be sold to the real world. So basically, it's a touch upon the digital world and the real world, which we try to connect. Of course, going to touch upon the only the gaming business, but this is the extended part of it, which probably in India, lot many people don't dare to do that. Few of the shots that you can see, couple of cosplay shows with our own superheroes that we have created. You can see all these characters inside the game. These are the people who actually became superhero, and we did several different training sessions. As you can see on the top left corner, the training session that we usually give to all these models, because they don't fight in real life. So we train them on martial arts, we train them on lot many various factors so that we can shoot the exact movement and then we can depict that. Now, when I was talking about all those villages, these are the places when I personally also visited, traveled, meet, talk to these guys. They are actually below poverty line. We wanted to give them a little bit of life so that a gaming entrepreneur can do something good for the country. If you remember, that was my route. That was the reason I started my entrepreneurial journey. Until date, I'm continuing the same after 23 years. Probably within a month, we will touch 24th year in the month of March. I will skip all these slides. A lot many characters we did, lot many games we did. We did with kids. We got several awards, celebrities. We started investing into movies. We started doing lot many activities. So I was blessed enough to get all these press news that press did for us nationally and internationally. I traveled approximate 40 different countries. 2008 onwards, I became a global mentor and an angel investor. These are the floated companies that I have in my kitty at the moment, which became really, really sizable. Virtualinfocom actually started in 1998, and as I told you, Glam World Phase took birth in the year of 2009, because we have been taking lot many actor and actresses as well as photographers and musicians. They wanted a platform to grow. So we floated this platform for all these creative guys so that they can grow their business. So it became a kind of spider web. Virtualinfocom in the meet, and all these companies are actually doing their various different activities with their strength. World Leader Summit is world's one of the largest leadership summit that we do, and we have been doing it for the last 3 years exactly, I would say, with 95 countries participation, various different people, each and every country. We have 5 ambassadors. You can imagine the kind of network that we have created so far. Co-Innovate Ventures, the logo in the middle in the second row, you can see that's our accelerator and our fund. We started investing as a strategic movement into lot many startup, irrespective of the fact where they are, who they are, and what is their background. We usually are interested about the revenue stage startup instead of talking about only ideas. So there are a couple of more you can say, portfolio of my companies. I'm skipping them all along because I really wanted to make it as an interactive one. I'll touch upon a little bit about how you can start your own studio, own game company, and then probably grow. These are my credentials. You can, of course, I'll be more than happy to connect you in social media if you need. It's pretty easy. Just put Arijit Bhattacharya in Google. You will find my details. Feel free to connect. We'll be happy to connect with you and take things forward. Now, let me come back to original mode instead of sharing things. Talking about starting a game development studio. As a student, always you can start as an indie studio. In game development, usually for a sizable company, we recruit for different verticals. Example, we take a game programmer, and game programmer, of course, have 2-3 different verticals. I'm not touching upon that. We recruit game artist, we recruit game designer sometimes. In today's time, usually we prefer a person who is senior enough to become a game designer because he is responsible about the marketing as well. Then we take network engineer, we take database programmers, so a lot of various different verticals, including security professionals as well. And then if you talk about a small studio structure, it is recommendable to start with hyper casual game instead of maybe a very high level, high-end 3D game. A high-end 3D game usually costs you a lot to start with. So instead of that, you can always start with a casual or hyper casual game, easy to do. Go for 2D, learn it. You can learn from internet. I personally prefer Unreal Engine as an engine. It's a great tool to understand. One of the sole reasons is you have C++ in your syllabus. It is easy to pick up Unreal Engine, learn it. If not, if you want to probably go for a little bit of smaller engine, which can touch upon a lot more flexibility with a lot more tutorials, Unity is another option. You can definitely learn it from internet and probably start your own studio. If not a studio, you can become an indie developer. Indie developers are nowadays doing pretty cool work. Now, the question is, how will you monetize your game? When you start your game studio or maybe an indie developer, of course, you can monetize it utilizing advertisement. That's one option. Second option is in-app purchase. The third option is the one that I was sharing with you, connecting with the real life. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of bandwidth, a lot of network. But yes, that's one of the sizable business that you can do. We floated from there. We floated to completely various different verticals and wanted to create the platform in such a way so that things can grow. To launch a game, you can definitely go for self-publishing. You can publish it into any app store. It can be Apple, it can be Google, it can be Amazon, it can be LG. So if you look at our website, you will see a lot many verticals in the world. To be very precise, there are more than 500 plus local play stores available in the world. Now, if you look at China, China itself have got various different play stores. Look at Russia, they have their own kind of play stores. Every country nowadays, like, if you really want to grow, they have their own kind of publishing support. So publishers, what they do, they put their marketing money, they do a strategic PR, they write a lot of good things for you, and then eventually they make the game so popular that people are bound to play it, and together they make money. So it is completely your choice. You want to be a publisher or you want to start your own development company. If you are a developer, it is always recommendable to choose one publisher who can handshake with you. Probably they will not invest money into your game. Sometimes it does if it's a really great MVP. On a basis of idea, if you are raising funds, I can talk from my fundraising activities. Of course, it's not recommendable to raise fund when you are in the idea stage. One of the sole reason is you will lose a lot of equity when you are in the idea stage. So this is not probably a fundraising activity workshop, but yes, I'll be happy to take any kind of questions if you have. These are the very basic how to start your company. You can choose any kind of line. It can be casual, it can be RPG, it can be racing, it can be RMG kind of stuff, it can be board game. So nowadays, if you look at India, we have a lot of success cases, which people say that they are gaming company, but it's actually fantasy sports, more of fantasy sports and more of, you can say, online betting kind of platform. Those things are happening from India, and people are raising a lot many funds. Things are happening. So I'm really, really glad and happy that these things are happening in India. But I would love to see from the students' perspective, if you really want to start something cool with maybe the proper gaming segment, say in racing, maybe with fighting, maybe with RPG, maybe with casual. Happy to take questions, please. So if there is a moderator, they can moderate the questions. Else, if you have any question, please feel free to raise your hand, and the moderator can probably unmute themselves, and we can have the Q&A round. Yeah, I can't understand your name. Probably Samrat. Samrat, you can unmute yourself and you can definitely ask question. IT127 underscore Samrat. Okay, you are unable to unmute yourself, then you can type your question here. You raised your hand, so I took your name.
Sir, you said to start with casual games or 2D games, but is there a market like because nowadays 3D games and RPG games are getting popular, but 2D and casual games seem to have lost markets, sir.
Beautiful. I'm so happy that you asked me this question. Well, people have been promoting casual games and 2D games for last 2 to 5 years, and I told 2 years back or probably 3 years back that market will actually choose the 3D rather than only the 2D and hyper casual. But to start with, to start the journey, you need to start from somewhere, right? So if you look at the market till date, we have an age group. The age group is above 35 who'd love to play 2D games instead of only 3D games, and they play casual games till date. And if you look at kids, they also love to try all those kind of casual game, which is in 2D. So it's not that the entire market of hyper casual game or casual game is not there. It's still there. And in aviation industry, people are there who are willing to collaborate with such kind of studios. I can tell it from my experience. There is a Serbian lady who is one of my mentee, and we are trying to help her to grab all those deals in the industry, and they are specifically in the storytelling of hyper casual games. So the market is not there. In fact, one of my portfolio company, or rather I would say one of our accelerators portfolio company from Turkey, they're into the casual genre, but with blockchain. So in today's world, you can't talk about only a basic, simple 2D game to become huge popular unless you put some kind of touch on maybe a machine learning or maybe a blockchain into it. People usually love that. So it completely depends on you. I just recommended to start with how you can start. So probably that's the best idea.
Yes, sir. And one thing also, nowadays lot of stickman games are getting popular.
Yeah,
You may have noticed it, but sir, like now there is like season from decade to decade. Like racing games are popular during this time. Then comes shooting games. Then battleground
you
games.
mentioned which country, which market. Popular means where?
Sir, all over the world. Like
No, it's not
nowadays,
like that.
it is like a COD and PUBG are popular like
It's not like
Minecraft.
that. It's not like that. I mean, if you can't say in the entire world, racing game lost its popularity. It's not like that.
No, sir, but the numbers have decreased. Like if NFS or new.
Uh, I think we lost you. Can't hear you. If there is a network glitch, you can always type your question in the chat box. I can pick it up and I can answer.
Yes, sir, like some games like now NFS has stopped making its most wanted that series, sir, that studio. So now racing games are not that popular, I think. I think in my opinion, but now the RPG games, MMOR, like Genshin Impact, they are getting quite popular, sir.
You are picking which data from where?
Sir, just online from internet.
That's the problem. I mean, in internet, somebody wrote it, and you are just taking that data and you're asking me question. Good that you actually read that data. Sometimes there is a marketing strategy. People take bloggers to write about such things. But in my small, humble opinion of last approximate 23 years, 11 months, I am not seeing that racing game is losing its popularity. The only fact that happened during the pandemic, because all these theme parks and entertainment zones are literally empty, people are not going there and people are not enjoying such kind of racing game. Now, talking about game as a subject, you need to understand it doesn't include only mobile. It includes PlayStation, it includes all those entertainment zones, it includes VR, it includes lot many different hardwares that you can think of, right? In fact, the AR glasses are nowadays becoming popular. Now, time will say that what will win the race and battle. But from my humble opinion, I am not seeing that racing will actually lose its place. It will stay. It's the adrenaline rush that will actually encourage people to go for racing, and it will happen. It cannot go down. Number one. Number two, you are right about all those action games. Yes, this will become more and more popular because technology nowadays are so evolved that we can definitely, for sure, create any kind of replica which I was showing, which is approx 10, 12 years back, pictures and snaps. I can show you recent work of ours as well. You will get a shock how accurate it became, including a small part of human body, and of course, mixed mode of other characters. So those things are in the pipeline, but don't put kindly game development into only entertainment segment. Gaming technology nowadays are used in real life solution making, including aviation, including automation, including industry verticals, lot many other factors are including healthcare as well. So people are using gaming technology to solve such kind of problem. And in fact, if you look at technology as a technology, I'm not talking about engine. Okay. So these algorithms are being used in robotics as well. So you need to understand what's going on and how things are going on. In today's world, it's very difficult to say that this is only a VR game. It cannot be implemented into PC and it will not become popular. To answer your question, I guess you got my answer. But to be very honest, I don't agree that racing will actually lose its popularity. Let the market be open and you will see a different report from a different blogger probably. Okay, what are the essential stuff to learn for building a console game that is of Xbox and PS5? Shubham, very nice, super. Battle Royale games, I didn't get the question. I'm not sure if you want me to talk about Battle Royale games. I'm so sorry, didn't get the question. Shubham, beautiful question. Well, to learn anything in gaming, you need to learn at least one engine. So it's not about which platform you're using. If you're using Unity as an engine, it has got a solution to make the coding inside Unity and then translate the entire game for your Xbox. You just need to learn C# very, very well. I usually recommend languages like C++, C#, and Lua, sometimes Python. Python is much more sophisticated if you really want to go beyond normal C#. So these are the 4 languages as a programmer you can definitely check. For 3D software, there are multiple different 3D softwares available. So you can definitely use them. Personally, if you ask me, free softwares like Blender, I love that. It's a beautiful platform. In fact, in Blender, there are options to not only create character, but use them in their own platform and then utilizing it as a gaming character as well. Is it for game designing, Shiva Prasad? The game designing is different, game art is different. I'm so sorry, but sometimes we mix with graphic designing and game designing. Game designing is something where you are designing the entire pipeline of the game, including money-making process. That's a kind of software architect's job. Now, if you are asking me about game art, definitely for game art, you can start with any 2D or 3D platform. You can choose Adobe if you're looking for 2D, one of the best. If you're looking for 3D, I already told you Blender, I love personally. There are other market softwares like Max. I don't like Maya for game designing purpose or game art purpose. I usually love Blender for the same. So you can definitely check those out. And not only the game art software, I think along with that, you should learn one basic engine. I think I already referred Unity or Unreal. Go any one of them, it will be good. Ruturaj, about multiplayer games like BGMI by Crafton. What I'm going to do with that? I mean, what's the question? I didn't get that. Like, you want me to talk about all those games? I'm so sorry, like I really don't want to talk about any third-party games here. Rather, if you have any career-centric question, I'll be happy to answer that. We are not discussing about gameplay and the future of gameplay or becoming a gamer. Becoming a gamer is interesting for kids, I understand that. But esports is, of course, becoming popular. But in my opinion, if you can create a game which can improvise some person's IQ level, that's more that's more better. So I will encourage you guys to play games, of course. Along with that, try to understand how to create game rather than only playing games. Chaitanya, yes, please.
Sir, why should one join the gaming industry? So
Sorry,
how is it? Why should one join the gaming industry? So how
it's
is
your
it different?
choice. It's your choice. If you want to join the game industry, then you join. If you really don't want to join it, that's fine. Nobody is
No,
pushing you to join.
how is it different than other industries?
Okay, it's completely different. Like every industry is different than others. You can't compare fried rice with idli. Can you? Can you say that fried rice is good, idli is not?
No.
Right. So if you look at the gaming industry as a whole structure somehow is undermined into our mindset in India specifically, that people who create games, they are not doing anything. You know what they're doing? They are game programmer. Okay, like what's the use of becoming a game programmer? I'll tell you what is the use of becoming a game programmer. Game programmer doesn't mean that you have to work into a game development company. You can work in a health tech company, you can work in an automotive company, you can work in lot many banking companies, like financial solution companies. All these algorithms that you learn utilizing such engines can be utilized in creating industry vertical solutions. Example, there is an aviation company, I can't tell you the name because of so many other factors. They are using extended reality as a solution to create their engines from various different parts of the world. So it's a kind of cloud-based office that they started creating, wherein gaming technology is being used. Long back, probably if I'm not wrong, 7 years back, I was sharing about that in future, game development as a technology will impact human life with robotics head and hands, which will eventually solve human issues for surgeons. Nowadays, these things are happening. So all these needs a little bit of study, not only from Google. Google is good for searching, great tool for understanding things. But if you escape all those SEO tools, go a little bit of deep, you will realize people are nowadays using a lot of gaming technology to solve all those industry vertical solutions. Not only that, I can give you one example of us. Like we solved one problem with a company called Scumberger, where they wanted to train their employees. I'm just giving one example, train their employees about their stacking system. It's a horizontal stacking and vertical stacking system. Probably, I'm not sure how many of you are from Marines background. So as a game programmer, we need to understand the entire algorithm, right? C doesn't work like the way a normal air works. Water doesn't have any kind of algorithm which can actually give you a proper data, okay? Now, when working with such kind of complicated data and working with such kind of complicated solutions, you need to understand how your EQ level and IQ level needs to be. So coming back to your question, if this interests someone, that I'll be doing some job in a challenging environment and I'm gonna do groundbreaking solution, maybe this is one of the field. I'm not saying this is the field, this is one of the field. So you may choose that.
Sir.
What should a first year student should begin with or have a career in this field? Like what all things are essential for beginner? Man, I think I already talked about it. You didn't listen? I already said that if you really want to start, you start with a engine. You can choose either Unreal, maybe Unity to start with. Learn the basics of graphics to be very precise. Learn it from, I'm not sure about your background. I mean, what is your hobby? Choose what is your passion. If your passion is about drawing, then go for game art. If your passion is about logic, then go for game programming. So for programming to start with, go for the C++ as a language to start with from the first year. And then after that, eventually grow to C# and Lua or Python. Don't go for both. It doesn't make any sense. Go for either or. Definitely you will get a good number of success. What are your thoughts on metaverse? Lovely question. Thank you so much for this question. Well, in my humble opinion, metaverse is going to rock. And if you remember, I'm not sure how many of you know it. Long back, there used to be a platform called Second Life. In Second Life, you can actually live a life of a digital human character. It didn't get a lot of success because technology was not evolved that time. Remember that. They were pretty early than the existing market. But in today's world with lot many network connectivity, metaverse is the thing where you can go for brand building, you can sell your products, you can put your stalls, you can talk to people, communicate. So this is the future which is going to rock, including NFT, of course. Will there a major role of AI in? Oh my God, yes, of course. How do you expect that you are playing the game? Without AI, you cannot create any kind of algorithm. AI plays huge role. Rather, I would say AI started its huge journey from gaming. Just go to the history of game. You will find that Atari used to be one of the leading company from US who started creating games utilizing artificial intelligence. So when you're fighting a battle, maybe your favorite game, it can be your a role-playing game, it can be a fighting game, it can be racing, it doesn't matter. When you are racing, all these characters, all these cars, which is following you, maybe it is giving you a hit, these are all happening because of artificial intelligence code that is happening in the background and with the machine learning mechanism that we use for all the other characters. Do we need to know app development to launch our game? No, Prithvi, you don't need to learn app development to learn game development. Both are different verticals altogether. In a metaphor answer, if you are great in making North Indian dish, it doesn't mean that you will be great in making continental dish. Both are different. Okay, but if you can master with one, you can definitely understand another part once you are mature enough. If you really want to trust me on this, After a certain number of years, you will find in life, there will be only one thing, that is logic. You will not get any other vertical, any other subject. You will only find logic, logic, and logic in everywhere. Even though if you are making an art piece, there is a logic that's happening. Why did you use blue as a color and those kind of tones? The logic is happening from here. So in life, you will see that when you grow up, you will see only logic is happening, whether it is banking, whether it is coding, whether it is any other field. Because app development, we choose Java helpful for game development. No, sir, Java is not helpful for game development. I differ a lot. Show me an engine nowadays which is using Java as a core development. Unreal uses C++, Unity uses C#. They used to use JavaScript as a script long back. It's a myth. What is the programming difference between mobile game development and PC game development? There is no such big difference. You just need to understand the logic. It's just translating the game from one hardware to another hardware. Let me repeat again. You are not entitled to create all those kind of games, which is from various different other hardwares. When you use an engine, you have the flexibility to translate your game from one vertical of hardware, which can be Android to iOS, iOS to Xbox, or it can be PC to Xbox, PC to PlayStation. It's just a little bit of tweaking of coding style, a little bit of tweaking of making the engine understand the hardware that you're using. So those are the tweaks that is there. That's it. Just start with C++. I didn't say C. According to you, which are the main programming languages for gaming? Python, C, C++. I love Python, if you ask me. It's all about logic. Okay. For an example, in C, you are using hash include as a header file. In C++, you are going to do the same. When you are using main as a body, you are using main as a body in all these languages, C, C++, any kind of language that is coming in next, like C#, using the same logic. If then else is not changing. Okay, your for loop is not changing, your while is not changing. It's just the way of writing the code, like the syntax are actually changing, right? So you need to understand the basic difference about the syntax only. So to start with, you can definitely start from C++ if you wish to. And if somebody feel that they don't love C++, they want to jump directly to C#, that is also possible. No, app development is actually a little bit of different as a logic. So if you start app development, it's not that you can't do game development, but the logic are different, the style is different, thought process are different. I'm not sure if I missed any other question. I guess I answered all of your questions. If there is any more question, I would love to happy to answer. If not, I will request our moderator to formally close the session, please. And yes, guys, like if you really need to connect, to communicate for C#, which YT channel you prefer? Prithvi, I am not sure if I'll be promoting some YouTube channel in front of you guys. So you are smart enough to go to Google and probably Google it out. For me, if I learn it from various different sources. I'm a self-taught programmer. So when I started, I used books as a reference. So till date, I would love to go for that instead of only a YouTube video. The solo reason is YouTube videos are done by one person. So you can follow maybe 2 or 3 person to learn the entire knowledge. So that will be my suggestion. Online development, we need to know about cloud. Yes, you need to know a little bit about cloud for sure. I'm so sorry, I need to hop in for another session. So that's happening from another country. So it's time. So I will take a leave. Thank you so much for all your questions, and will be more than happy to answer if you wish to. If not, I have a website of my own, which is my personal website, apart from the private one. I'm so sorry, the company one. So I'm sending this website URL to all of you, and this is my Instagram account. You can definitely follow me over there, and we can talk, we can chat, you can see me live taking a couple of sessions. Okay, yeah,
Thank you so much, sir, for this wonderful session.
thank you.
Those who are in this meeting, they will get the knowledge of the gaming industry in the future about this. Thank you so much, sir.
My
Yes, thank you so much, sir.
thank you.